When you're referred to as unparalleled, there's no place to go but down. Thank you so much. I would like to thank the Foundation for Early Learning and its executive director, Vonetta Barton, and its board of directors, led by Vijay Vache, for the opportunity to speak at this extraordinary event today. I have been deeply impressed by the mission and strategy of the Foundation as it has innovated in its approach and services to better serve the need of early learners and their families. This organization has been a pioneer in one of the most important social, economic, and political mandates of our time, that all children will be socially, emotionally, and intellectually prepared to succeed in school. Since becoming the president of the Corporation for Enterprise Development, or CFED, 4.5 years ago, it has been a great pleasure to work with public, private, and nonprofit leaders in Seattle and the state of Washington, from issues ranging from access to capital to the creation of financial assets for low-income families. It has been inspiring to recruit our first board member from Seattle to join the CFED board, Doug Rosen, and to develop formal partnerships with several local organizations that I will describe later. And I say very honestly that there are few places in the country that match this state's commitment to civic engagement and to expanding economic opportunity to all of its citizens, and to doing so through extremely effective multi-sectoral partnerships that take collaboration to new levels of impact. I want to start my remarks today by sharing a vision for the future. I would like each of you to imagine a world where every child born in this country starts life with a savings account. This account is seeded with an initial deposit of $500 from the government, with the possibility of earning saving matches and investing contributions from family and friends over a lifetime, as long as the proceeds are used for education, entrepreneurship, homeownership, and retirement. How would it feel to know from the start that your country, along with your family and friends, believed in your future so much that they were willing to invest in it even before you spoke your first word? This account, known as a Children's Development Account, has become a reality for almost 1,500 children around the country. And it is a dream that we hope to realize over the next several years for every child born in the United States. How does this vision relate to your work as practitioners, advocates, and investors in early learning? To begin to frame the argument, I will start with a story that really brought home the power and importance of early learning to me at a profoundly personal and emotional level. While I have always had an intellectual appreciation of the issue, starting as far back as my own attendance at the Work and Play preschool, led by two dedicated socialists who were a bit anomalous in the 1950s, who set the highest bar imaginable with their creativity and their imagination for the rest of my education. It really wasn't until 16 years ago, when my older son, who unbelievably turns 21 tomorrow, you know how that feels, began kindergarten, that I truly gained appreciation for the centrality of early learning to my own work, which had been focused really on achieving economic justice and opportunity. I live in Silver Spring, Maryland, which is an economically and socially diverse community within a relatively affluent county with one of the best school systems in the United States. During my time volunteering in my son's kindergarten classroom, which included 22 kids, one full-time teacher, and several part-time aides at some time, I was struck by the extraordinary difference in readiness among the students. To my relatively uneducated eye, I could already see a gap, pronounced by the age of 5, of at least 3 years in intellectual, social, and emotional development of the students. And if you factored in Sarah, who was already working at a 2nd grade level in kindergarten, and they pulled her out within a month to go to a special highly gifted school, it was 5 years in that one classroom. Thus, I was confronted with an uncomfortable calculus that Alex's enrollment for the past 3 years, since he'd been 2, in a private preschool had not prepared me for. The cost of the lack of school readiness, whether it was caused by social, economic, or neurological reasons, or all of the above, on my own child's education in public school, that my husband and I had chosen intentionally for the pairing of quality instruction, strong community engagement, and racial, ethnic, and economic diversity. And as I continued to volunteer 1 day a week in either my son or my younger daughter's classroom over the next 7 years, I had a front row seat on the consequences of this disparity of readiness for everyone. The children who never caught up and the students who paid their own price in terms of lost instructional time and attention, while heroic teachers and aides and specialists worked hard to close the gap, or at least to stop it from widening. And I experienced almost a physical feeling of heartbreak after learning that the little boy that I had tutored on a weekly basis in math and reading for 3 years, and who worked so hard to catch up to those kids, like my son, for whom it all seemed so effortless, dropped out of high school during his junior year. I didn't think that that really still happened. So it was this experience early on that really influenced me to leave my former field, which was community development finance, where I worked on structuring finance for small business, inner city development, and low-income housing, and moved to CFED, which is an organization with an explicit focus on leveraging both policy and practice to reduce poverty and advanced economic opportunity at scale. It seemed to me the way to go and have greater impact than one transaction at a time. I know that I risk sounding like a cliche-ridden pundit when I declare that we are at a historic moment in the political life of our country, with the future shape of our financial markets and broader economy and our place in the world all in a state of change. But as someone whose office is just 4 blocks from the White House, and whose work has been utterly transformed by the possibilities for policy change that have been rolled out on a daily basis over the last 6 weeks, I feel obligated to bring you my sense of the other Washington. As you all know, the President has selected education, along with energy and healthcare, as an area of top priority for investment, reform, and accountability.